Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Shannon. We are awakening. How do I know this? Because it is the evolutionary process of creation for us to grow into the perfect divine idea of mankind held in the mind of God. My desire is to awaken in this lifetime. Anybody with me?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Good. The reason I believe that I can fully awaken and that you can too is because I've seen how far I've come in the last 41 years. Wow. It's like night and day. I remember how I used to think and feel and speak and behave. I don't think you'd recognize me from 41 years ago. At least I hope you wouldn't. I used to feel very disempowered, weak, somewhat like a victim. I used to think that life happened to me. Well, no more. Through spiritual practices and new thought, science of mind, these principles, incorporating them into my consciousness and living them on a spiritual journey, I am a different person. I no longer think that life happens to me. It happens through me and for me. Right? Today I'm going to talk to you about some of the spiritual practices that have been most meaningful to me and some that may be new to you as well. So I hope you enjoy that. I've divided these into 4 areas of spiritual development. The first area is meditation, prayer, spiritual mind treatment, contemplation, reflection, spending time in silence and practicing the presence, and something called looking for light. Do you know what the beauty of all of these are? They're all free. They're all free and they're available to all of us anytime, anywhere that we want to practice them. I want to share with you how I learned how to meditate. That was 41 years ago, in 1977. I was the mother of 3 small children and married to what some people might call a wayward husband. He was out almost every night till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was filled with worry thoughts. Where is he? What's he doing? Who's he with? I became so anxious that I knew that could not continue. I had 3 little children to raise, but I really didn't know what to do about that. And Spirit would always provide us with whatever we needed. One of the magazines that we subscribed to arrived at the house, and its lead story was on transcendental meditation. I had never heard of that. But I read the article, and it talked about people learning how to meditate, how to de-stress, how to quiet their mind. And some were even finding that they reached deep states of peace. I knew I needed that. I didn't have access to TM classes, but I remembered back to a time when I was a very little girl, when my parents would dress my sister and I in our pajamas and take us to the drive-in movie. I don't think some of the younger people might know what a drive-in movie is, right? But it's where you watch a movie from your car. There's a big white blank movie theater screen before the movie begins. I remember as that little girl standing up on the floorboard in the back seat, looking over the front seat, which was all one seat at that time, and staring at this big blank white movie screen, not blinking, not thinking, because I didn't want to miss even 1 second of the cartoon that always preceded the movie. So that's what I did as that 27-year-old adult who wanted to learn how to meditate. I recreated that big blank white movie screen in my mind, and with my inner eyes, I stared at it, not blinking and not thinking. And over time, I learned how to quiet my mind. Where meditation took me was far beyond that, far beyond what I could have ever imagined. It took me to a place where I learned that the presence and the love and the peace of God dwelled inside of me. If you haven't begun a daily meditation practice yet, I encourage you to begin today. My husband Dave started 2 years ago meditating after he retired. He said at first it was very difficult to still his mind, which it is for every one of us when we first begin. But he stuck with it, and there's not a day that goes by now that he doesn't spend time in silence. There's another thing I want to talk to you about. All of those things that I've done, and probably you've done too. But the one at the bottom, looking for light, that's a spiritual practice that we all can enjoy and use, and it's been significant in my life. Coming out of meditation one morning back in 2001, I asked Spirit, how can I stay consciously connected with God outside of meditation? And this concept downloaded. I named it Looking for Light. It's where we focus our mind entirely on seeing only light and good and God in everything, in everyone, in every situation and circumstance. What one finds when you do that is that you'll see light and good and God everywhere because it's all there, and when we're searching for it, we find it. And it quickly takes you into a state of gratitude and joyful expectation. And then you see more light and good in God, and it creates this continual feedback loop that raises your vibration up into a state that is a single-eye vision. It conditions the body and mind into seeing God everywhere. We won't talk anymore about looking for light, because that's another whole Sunday service message. But you can get a free copy of that mindfulness practice right off of the website, lookingforlight.net. This leads us right into the second area of spiritual development, which is to study and learn. Why? To gain in knowledge and spiritual understanding. That's part of our awakening process. To learn about the nature of God and spiritual truth. And when I say spiritual truth, I'm talking truth with a capital T. There's quite a difference between that and personal truth. Reverend Cindy delivers beautiful, informative messages here every week. And she gives us thoughts to ponder on all week long. But she and I both agree that where we really start to deepen our spiritual understanding is in taking the courses. I remember back when I first started meditating, that led me right into the study of metaphysics and spiritual truth. I remember being in St. Pete at Haslam's bookstore, which had a big metaphysical section, and I'd be drawn to this book and that book and that book. And that went on for 15 years. I had no GPS system about where to go. And I learned some things. But when I first walked into a New Thought church back in 1993, and then began taking the courses in their curriculum, these courses that Science of Mind puts together give you a complete understanding so that you can put the pieces of life's puzzle together from a state of spiritual understanding. That is huge. It's a huge gift that you're giving yourself. Because you can then look back on any situation or on any current situation and see it from a whole different level, from a level of spiritual understanding. You want that. I hear that Foundations, which is a foundational class for Science of Mind, is starting here on March 4th. If you haven't taken it before, or even if you have, I really encourage you to start taking it. How convenient to have it right here at Oak Brook. Yeah. Ernest Holmes says that if individuals are to continue to progress, we must take things in our own hands and choose to continue our climb. From now on, we ascend because we ourselves have chosen to do so. In order to do this, we must clearly realize that there is no separation between humankind and God. Remember, everything is spirit, an expression of the infinite God consciousness. In Science of Mind principles, they define God as, we believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty. This one manifests itself in and through all creation. When we study truth, we learn about the nature of God as omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience. Let's take those one by one. Omnipresence. God is everywhere present. In you, in me, in all of life. There is not a spot that God is not. When we get that concept of omnipresence, we really do get it all. Omnipotence. God is infinite power. With God, all things are possible. Remember that from the Bible? Perhaps you've heard the saying, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence. Yeah. Omnipotence, one power. Omniscience. Omniscience. God is all-knowing, infinite knowledge and wisdom, and we have access to that wisdom 24/7. When we learn to still our minds and yet be open and receptive to receiving divine ideas, inspirations, revelations, visions, all. Yeah. So God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and everywhere present. Let's talk about man and define man. From Science of Mind principles, Ernest Holmes defines man as we believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in everyone, and that all people are incarnations of the one Spirit. And from the Bible in Psalms 82:6, you are God's children of the Most High, all of you. Do you believe that? Yeah. Yeah. I'm coming into believing that. Yeah. There's a prayer that I absolutely love that really defines for me God and man. It's called Statement of Being. Let's read it together. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Man is an individualized expression of God, ever one with his perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. About a month ago, I was in Oak Brook, and I saw displayed in the bookstore this book, How to Change Your Life by Ernest Holmes. I was guided to purchase this, and I've been devouring it ever since. I highly recommend it to anyone, no matter where you are on your spiritual path, because you'll get something from it. In fact, some of today's talk is taken from this book. I think there's copies in the bookstore, at least I hope. I think they're ordering some, and maybe there's some. So treat yourself to that book because you will really love it. All right. Our third area of spiritual development is our thoughts and beliefs. Ernest Holmes says, universal mind answers to your mind. Mind creates for you according to the pattern you make for it by your thoughts of good or not so good. Your task, therefore, is to maintain only positive, uplifting, harmonious thoughts. Ernest also says, whatever is firmly planted in our mind in absolute belief is acted upon by the law of mind and has to come forth in your world of experience. Wow. I want to talk about Jesus a little bit. And I know that sometimes when just the name of Jesus is heard, that some people have sort of a knee-jerk reaction, probably based on some unpleasant experience that has happened in their past. But I think if we don't talk about Jesus, we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Yeah. Jesus was a person, a human being, and the perfect example of what it is we ourselves are here to do. Yeah. He developed within himself the realization that there was no separation between him and the Father, which was his favorite name for God. Throughout his life, he gained in knowledge and spiritual understanding. He embodied his divinity. He awakened his Christ nature, that Christ nature that dwells in each and every one of us, that we also are here to awaken. So how do we do this? Using Jesus as an example, Jesus used the power of the Word, statements of truth only. He spiritualized his body and mind by doing that into Christ consciousness. He used bold statements of truth. The Father and I are one. All authority hath been given unto me in heaven and on earth. The works that I do shall you do also, and greater works than these. It is not I, but the Father within me who does the works. Yeah. When we train our minds to be still and open and receptive, they will entrain, our thoughts will entrain up into resonance with universal mind. That is how we gain dominion over our thinking, our feeling, and our actions. You may be wondering, well, how will I know which are truth statements to hold in mind? Whatever God is true. If those statements match up with omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience, perfect life, perfect love, perfect substance, then those are truth statements, truth with a capital T. So we want to become aware of what we're thinking, what thoughts we're holding in mind, and change those if necessary to statements of truth. We will prove to ourselves how transformative just doing that one practice is. And by all means, it is not easy, especially at the beginning. But even making little by little progress is going to show a difference in our lives. Philippians 2:5. Let the same mind be in you, which was in Christ Jesus. That is what I'm aiming for. Right there. The same mind. How about you? How about you? That Christ mind is in us. We just need to awaken it. Louise Hay, a religious science practitioner, developed a spiritual practice called morning mirror meditation. And I think you have a copy of it inside the bulletin for you to take home and use. This is a practice where every morning when you get up, you look at yourself in the mirror and lovingly say, good morning, and your name. Okay. Good morning, Patricia. You are wonderful, and I love you. This is going to be one of the best days of your life. Everything is unfolding for your highest good. Whatever you need to know is revealed to you. Whatever you need comes to you. All is well. Say that to yourself every morning, and you will set your day on the right path. About 4 years ago, in one of my spiritual courses that I was taking, the minister was leading the class in a guided meditation, and he had said to us, please repeat the words that I'm saying in meditation silently to yourself. When he got to the statement, I am divine, I could feel all this resistance coming up within me. I knew what to do, and after the course was over, I started really conditioning into my consciousness statements like, I am divine, I am spirit, I am alive with the life of Christ. I can tell you that now, I don't feel resistance when I say that. So apparently, there's an acceptance going on of that reality, which is truth with a capital T. And I encourage you to do the same sometime. In fact, why don't we do it right now? Just test yourself how open you are to your own divinity. Are you willing to do that? Yeah. Okay, all right. So just relax, get comfortable in your seats. Remove anything from your lap if it's uncomfortable. Close your eyes. And to begin to take some long, slow, deep breaths. If you're a meditator, go within to that special place inside of you that you experience the divine. If you're not a meditator, just simply bring your focus down into your heart. Continue to breathe deeply. And repeat silently the words I say. I am divine. Notice how you feel. Now silently say, I am spirit expressing. Notice again how you feel. And then lastly, I am alive with the life of Christ. Notice how you feel. And when you're ready, just gently open your eyes. How was that? How was that? Did anybody want to share how they felt? What the response was? Did you feel any resistance like I did 4 years ago? Or are you accepting of it? You did?
Very accepting.
Very accepting. How wonderful. She says, full of light? Yeah. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Wonderful. Anybody else have something to share? Well, if it resonated with every one of you, I am so happy. Yes. This is exactly where we want to be. Corinne?
I was just going to say the part where we said, I am spirit, expressing, that was almost like a relief. I didn't have to worry about whether I was doing the right thing because I'm spirit expressing. Took the pressure off of me.
Did you all hear her? Could you hear her? Yeah. She said when she said, I am spirit expressing, it took the pressure off of her because
It's spirit.
it's spirit expressing. Yeah, and not Corinne as a human.
Yes, as
Yeah.
alone, not me alone.
Yeah, not you alone. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So the fourth area of spiritual development is living our God qualities. In this book, How to Change Your Life, Ernest Holmes talks about these 8 God qualities, that they're innately within us. Let's read them one by one. Life, love, wisdom, intelligence, peace, creativity, beauty, and joy. He tells us in the book, to attain these things, you must recognize that you have, by nature, the ability within yourself to attain them. And then you must cultivate these parts of your nature, which will let these qualities develop in you. Your task now is to consciously bring these inner qualities forth so that they can be expressed, used, and experienced. Yeah. One thing he also says is he tells us how to cultivate these God qualities within us. He says, perhaps you have had negative habits of thinking, feeling, and acting which kept blocking the right and full expression through you of your divine nature. If this has been so, do not now concentrate your attention on what you want to get rid of. Instead, devote your efforts primarily to the development of the good qualities you already possess, but have not been using. The quick and effective way to eliminate anything you don't want is to disregard it and turn your attention and interest to what is directly opposite. Sounds like looking for light to me. So I looked at all these God qualities and I thought, this is my next phase of development, because although all of these are present in me and to one degree or another, I certainly am not living full out in expression of all of these. I want to wake up in the morning in life and say, I'm alive with the life of spirit. I want to love unconditionally all the time. I want to choose love in every moment. Wisdom, I want to be still and know that I am God all the time. Intelligence, I want to intelligently use the law of mind in every action. Peace, I want to attain that peace that passes understanding and carry it with me into every situation. Creativity, I want spirit to flow freely through me, freely in the playground of infinite possibility. Beauty, I want to see the light shining through everything so that beauty shines through. And joy, I want to live full out in joy and expectation of good. How about you? Yeah? Yeah, we can do this. Well, this is where I'm concentrating now. Still doing the other practices, but this is my focus now. Have you ever noticed that when you commit to doing something, especially in the spiritual realm, that life will serve you up exactly what you need to exercise those developing spiritual muscles? Well, that's what happened. I received a Facebook Messenger from a close relative that I had not been in contact with, and she had not been in contact with me for years, and it was a mutual consensus that would happen. She wanted to get together. So last Monday, after I'd been preparing this talk and committed to living these God qualities, I agreed to meet, and we did. But before I did, I had to do some inner work. I had to wash away any grime, anything that was on the windows of my mind. I had to take down the pictures of appearances. I had to rid myself, erase the blackboard of judgments, perceptions. I wanted to go in there fully embodying these God qualities and look for light in her, in me, in the whole situation. So it took some inner work, but it worked. We met, and I don't know, she, to me, she was doing the same thing. We had a wonderful first time get together again, and it's the beginning of reuniting with someone that I know is meant to be in my life. I love these spiritual practices because they bring harmony and peace and love. They create relationships that perhaps had been in discord for years. It's amazing, and I am so grateful for these practices and these teachings. All right, let's review real quickly these 4 spiritual awakening practices. The first, meditation and prayer, looking for light, practicing the presence. Second, study and learn. Dive into those courses that are offered. You're going to get that complete understanding once you take their curriculum. Third, be careful of what we're thinking and believing. Think only thoughts of truth. Examine that and make changes where necessary. And watch your life unfold for the better. Fourth, let's fully embody these God qualities. That is what we are all doing right there. This is the acceptable time. This is our time.